Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sam Saraswate Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurudevo Maheshwara Gurureva Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunattu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
So before we get on to today's topic, I have a question which I need to take up and a couple of other points. Last time when I talked about Ramakrishna Paramhans and Ramana Maharshi, surgery being performed on the armpit and without an anesthesia, etc., might have sounded a little outlandish to some of you. That how is this possible? It's actually not at all that difficult to understand. All of us, each one of us, have this basic capability. Now, in our life, at times, all of us would have encountered moments where, when I'm absorbed in doing something which I really like, could be a book that I'm reading, could be a movie that I'm watching, or could be doing anything else which I really love. At that time, if you notice, you have no awareness of your body. Your body could be in discomfort, body could be facing trouble, but you are simply not bothered. You're not bothered because you are not at that time aware of your body. All of us would have passed through this. Whenever there's an intense concentration, when there is a state of absorption, awareness of the body, awareness of the mind, automatically, if not cease, it doesn't cease, it at least dilutes significantly. Now, this is for our routine ephemeral things. Imagine the realized master who is absorbed in the highest bliss. When he or she is absorbed in the highest bliss, there is absolutely no awareness of the body and mind. At will, the master can come down from that to a lower level and become aware, but when absorbed, absolutely no awareness of the body and mind, and that's how it is possible. So you can correlate with your own experiences in life, number one. Number two, let me take up the question that came. The question is, I'll read out the question first. As I understand, Dhyana Yoga shows path to attain moksha. Bhakti Yoga, we follow rituals based on bhakti. For example, Vata Savitri Puja, we pray for rebirth. Why this mixed message? On one side, we are saying moksha. On the other side, some of the rituals we perform are asking for rebirth. That's the question. So, before I answer this question, one or two points on the question itself. So, path to attain moksha is not dhyana yoga, it is jnana yoga. Dhyana is a part of it at a certain stage, but the path is jnana yoga, not dhyana yoga. Dhyana is one of the techniques that will be used. That is number one. Number two, Vata Savitri Puja and pujas like this. There's so many pujas we all perform. Puja, Vrata, this and the other. There are three types of these pujas that we perform. There are rituals that come out of Vedas called Vedic rituals. There are rituals that come out of Puranas called the Puranic rituals. Puranas are the story version of some of the teachings of Vedas, explained for the people who find philosophy difficult to understand. So they are given the same thing in the form of stories so that they are able to correlate. And there are rituals that come out of tradition, social traditions. They are not necessarily there in the Vedas or Puranas, but social traditions are there. Now, and we perform rituals of various kinds because that is how we've been taught from childhood, and we've been told you do this, this is good for this, or you continue doing that without asking questions. Why is this? These are for limited benefits. Moksha is that infinite benefit. Why do we have this mix of things? So if you go back to the very first discussion we had on what is Vedas, I told you that Vedas are like a supermarket. They have something for everyone. Not only something for everyone, but they have everything for everyone. Now, while Vedas tell us that moksha is the ultimate goal, Vedas also realize the reality that not everyone is going for that ultimate goal. Till a few months back, many of us were not even aware that this is an ultimate goal of life. So not all of us are going for that ultimate goal. Even today, even after some discussions, I'm not sure how many of you are still convinced that that is the ultimate goal and I must go for it. So Vedas understand that there are people at different levels of goal seeking. And Vedas do not insist that this is the ultimate goal, so you must go on this path, no other path. Vedas leave it to you. What would you want? What do you want to pursue in your life? Ideal is that you go after the ultimate goal. But if you are not ready, or if you do not want to, then whatever be your goal, Vedas will give you tools to pursue that goal, hoping that some stage or the other you will progress, come back to a higher path, to the main path. So rituals that if you also remember, I said there are 4 parts to Veda. There's a mantra section, there's a Brahmana section, there is Aranyaka, and there is Upanishads. What we are talking, what we are discussing right now are what was contained in the Upanishads. But the Brahmana portion is full of various rituals meant for finite goals. You want wealth? This is the yaga you perform. You want to go to heaven? This is the yaga you perform. You want to become a supreme king? This is what you perform. You want a son? This is what you perform. So depending on what your goal is in life, Vedas will give you a tool to excel in and achieve that. So Vedas do not, let's say, do not contest with you that why are you on a wrong path? Come to the right path. Vedas understand that you will take time to come there. Till that time, here is what you need. So there are many rituals. I'm not sure whether Vata Savitri is from there or not. To my mind, I think it's from Puranas, and I am not an expert on Puranas. I've not studied Puranas that much, so I won't be able to comment on that. Its connection with bhakti, yes, all rituals have a connection with bhakti. And devotees itself, Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita classifies into 4. That there are 4 types of devotees. The first type of devotee is what is called Artha. Artha means the one who's in dire strait. He's in a severe problem or she's in a severe problem. And because of that terrible condition, comes to God, please save. So a devotee comes to God because the devotee is in trouble. That's the first type, called the Artha. There's a second type of devotee who is a businessman, who says, you give me this, I do this for you. So he comes to God seeking something, that I want this, in return I will do this for you. 99% of our worship is of this type. Whatever little bhakti that we follow, 99% is this type. So seeking rebirth in a Vata Savitri Vrata is of this type, that give me rebirth of a good type, or give me the same husband next time, or give you do what is that called, that Chaturthi for the husband, the fasting that is done for the husband. So all these are seeking limited goals in exchange for me doing something. So this is the second type of devotee. The third type of devotee is what is called as curious devotee, who wants to know, what is this? What does it do? Does it really do? So the third type of devotee comes out of curiosity, wanting to understand, wanting to experience, wanting to know. Doesn't believe, but wants to understand, wants to find out. And the last one is a devotee of the type that we want to be. The devotee who's seeking him, not anything from the world. Seeking the ultimate. Now in Bhakti you are seeking Ishvara or Ishvara's form. In Vedanta you are seeking Brahman, who is the ultimate. So the only difference between Bhakti and Vedanta is that in Bhakti you are seeking a formed or a attributed version of Brahman. Whereas in Vedanta you are seeking Brahman himself. But the ultimate Bhakti also is the one where you are seeking him and not something of the world. So, but you will find all types of rituals available to you in the Vedas. It's up to us whether you want to take that path or you want to continue on two paths. You can still continue to do that, but also get onto this path. Now we will come to the topic of today. What we have understood so far is the goal. And as we know, the goal is to gain knowledge of my true nature, being existence, consciousness, bliss, together known as Satchidananda or Brahman. Right? Now, when I say to know, last time Arun asked a question. Is it a reversible knowledge or it is an irreversible knowledge? So you tell a child about fire. Say it's very hot, very bad, never get close to it, don't touch it, etc., etc. For the child, it is borrowed knowledge. It is information. But if the child puts his hand in fire, gains another level of knowledge. The second knowledge, is it reversible or irreversible? So right now what we have, what we're exchanging is information. What I got is borrowed knowledge. What I am giving you is borrowed knowledge. It is not your own knowledge. It is not my own knowledge. But once we reach that level of it becoming my own knowledge, then it is off the level of your experiencing fire, that it becomes irreversible. And that is the goal that we have of reaching there, so that what we are discussing becomes my internal realized knowledge. Now, what we also discussed was that this is my nature even today. It's only hidden from me. So I only need to remove the veil, remove the hurdles, and all these hurdles in the way are created by myself. So I need to remove my self-created hurdles in this process. So let's see what those hurdles are. How do we approach them? Let's take the analogy of a lake. I want to experience Brahman. I want to experience Atman, that is myself, my real self. Now, let's take, for example, that my self is at the bottom of a lake. We take the example of a lake. My self is at the bottom of the lake. and I want to experience myself. Now, I'll be experiencing it through the water in the lake, right? There are three situations in which I will not be able to experience myself. First, if the water is dirty. If the water is dirty, I won't be able to see myself, certainly not clearly. Second, if there are ripples in the water, if the water is turbulent, I will not be able to see myself. Even if I do see myself, I will see a distorted version of myself. Third, if the water is covered with moss, I won't be able to see. Is that right? So there are three types of hurdles which stop me from experiencing myself. The same analogy can apply to a mirror. I want to see my reflection in the mirror. If there's dirt, if the mirror is shaking, mirror is covered, I can't see. But if I remove these hurdles, I can see. Let's take one more analogy, which is the classical analogy of Vedanta. We talked about it briefly earlier, that of rope and snake. That there's a piece of rope lying on the floor. It is semi-dark, semi-light, and I mistake that rope to be a snake. So what have I done? Actually, in reality, it's a rope. I have superimposed a snake on it, and that causes fear and sorrow. Now, first problem is I did not comprehend what it is. So what is called non-comprehension, or I do not know the reality. So the reality is veiled from me. I do not know that it is a rope. If I know it's a rope, none of the other things will happen. So the first factor is I do not know it is rope. The first factor is non-comprehension. Because I do not comprehend, I superimpose, I imagine something else. And that is called miscomprehension. So I'm not projecting something on it. I projected a snake on it. And that leads to problems. So this is a projection, a miscomprehension. And the third is why snake? I could have superimposed a rope on the rope, not knowing that's a rope. I could imagine there's a rope. Something very benign, would not have caused any fear on me. Why did I imagine a snake? What I imagine depends on the texture of my mind. Depends on the quality and texture of my own mind. The clearer and cleaner it is, the clearer and cleaner will be the superimposition. So three factors are important. Lack of knowledge, ignorance. Second is agitation, turbulence, projection. And third is dirt or impurity. Now, in the lake example, the water is the mind. So if mind is impure, if the mind is turbulent, and if the mind is covered, there's a veil. I will not be able to experience myself. And the tool available to me for this is the mind itself. So I cannot do away with the mind. It's the mind medium that is going to take me there. So I need to first address my mind, make it ready for that final knowledge, the experienced knowledge. And that is where the path starts. That I need to start working with my mind, make it ready, then follow some practices to experience it. And that's what we will start with today. I think there is a question in the chat.
Namaste. My question is for later. I don't want to derail the current talk. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. So, Ajay, can you share that slide? Now, if you recall, while talking about moksha also, we talked about three hurdles. Mala, vikshepa, and avarana. Mala is impurity of the mind. Vikshepa is disturbance of the mind, distraction of the mind. And avarana is the ignorance, the veiling of the mind. The same three examples, three factors we saw in the case of the analogy of the lake. That I am not able to see myself because water is dirty, or water is turbulent, or water is covered. So while addressing it from the perspective of moksha, the same three factors are important: impurity of the mind, distraction of the mind, and ignorance. So those three are in this table. Now this table gives you the entire roadmap as to what is the issue, what is the solution for that, and what are the techniques or methods to be used to reach there, to reach the ultimate goal. So as you can see, the first row deals with eligibility as to am I eligible to start walking on this path. So first I need to make myself eligible. Now, when I want to study in a college, I must first pass high school. Or if I want to take up a professional course, I must at least have an undergraduate degree. So do I have a degree or do I have a qualification to start on this path? That is what the first row deals with, where the Vedanta talks about a fourfold qualification which is required to start walking on this path. And how to gain this are the methods of four limbs of Patanjali Yoga, that is Raja Yoga, which will help you gain these qualifications. Now, the next three rows are the three hurdles. The first hurdle is impurity of mind, called Mala. The solution is simple: purity of mind, Chitta Shuddhi. And the tool for this is what is called Karma Yoga, yoga of action. How it is, what is Karma Yoga, we will deal with it. We'll see all this in detail. We will first see what is impurity. What is impurity and how do we deal with it? Both we'll see later. The second hurdle is distraction of the mind. The solution lies in making the mind single-pointed and unflickering. A single-pointed, unflickering focus of the mind, concentration, or what is called Chitta Ekagrata and Chitta Naishalya. That is the solution. How do I gain it? Yoga of devotion, that is Bhakti Yoga. Meditation of a type called Upasana, and chanting, that is Japa. And the last one is ignorance, which is Avarana or Ajnana, as you can call it. The solution lies in gaining knowledge, Atma Jnana. How do I gain it? By yoga of knowledge, that is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga has three parts to it, called Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, which we will see when we reach there. So this is the entire roadmap. By the end of it, if we progress well, there's every chance that we will reach there. We will deal with each of these in detail in the sessions that we take up now. So you can unshare, Ajay. This you need not note down because this PowerPoint presentation will be shared with on the Google Drive. So it is there in the presentation. There's a slide from the presentation itself. So you'll be able to access it in the Google Drive. Now these steps are progressive steps. Although not independent. So to a great extent, they are dependent on each other. They're interdependent, but they are progressive. So one has to start with Chitta Shuddhi first, then go to Chitta Ekagrata, then go to self-knowledge. Progressively, they are they require higher subtlety of the mind. Mind needs to become subtler and subtler with every step. The last step requires a very subtle and very sharp mind. They are also progressive in difficulty. Purity of mind is easier to gain than concentration, and self-knowledge is the most difficult to gain. Idea is not to discourage you. Idea is to give you a feeling as to what is required. Now, if you notice in this, all four yogas are used. There's Karma Yoga, there's Bhakti Yoga, there's Jnana Yoga, and there is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is the Ashtanga Yoga that we talk about, Patanjali Yoga. All four are covered in this path. Now, some philosophies hold that each of these are independent paths. Karma Yoga is an independent path, Bhakti Yoga is an independent path, Jnana Yoga is an independent path. While we did talk about Bhakti Yoga in the last session, that if you follow Bhakti Yoga as the path, it is possible to reach there, and we discussed how you can reach there. That's Krama Mukti, or you meeting your guru in this life itself and gaining jnana and then reaching there. But Advaita Vedanta's position is that knowledge is the only direct means of moksha. Moksha can be derived only from knowledge, not from the other paths. Other paths are a must, but they have a supporting role. They are not the direct means of moksha. Direct means of moksha is knowledge, because finally, what are you doing? You are gaining knowledge of your true self, true nature, which is hidden from you right now. You're only uncovering that and coming to know of it. Once you uncover the hurdles, it'll shine by itself. And once it shines by itself, you will know it. Then you will not need any other light to know it. You will not need any other knowledge to know it. So Advaita Vedanta's position is that it is only jnana which will finally lead you to moksha. Adi Shankaracharya says, jnanata eva tu kaivalyam. That is, only jnana will take you to moksha. All other steps are supporting steps. That I am Brahman, what is called Aham Brahmasmi, is already an existing fact. It is not new knowledge that you want to get. We are only ignorant of it right now. And now we have started getting that information that this is what the position is. But because the cause of my being not Brahman is ignorance, the solution has to be something that is opposed to ignorance. Can I remove ignorance by following asanas and pranayam and meditation? Can I remove ignorance by doing bhakti? Adi Shankara says, ignorance can only be removed with knowledge. Darkness can only be removed with light. Everything else can help, but finally you need light to remove darkness. So it is only knowledge that will remove ignorance. So knowledge is the only direct means of gaining moksha. So gaining knowledge, as I said, is a step-by-step process. Now, a question will arise in all of us, our minds. Why can I not go to the final step directly? The final step is meditation. When I say in Jnana Yoga, there are 3 stages, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is meditation. I know meditation, why can I not go directly there? Right? Has crossed everybody's mind. that why all this convoluted route. Let me go directly to meditation. Try. Effective meditation is not possible. You can sit with your eyes closed, but effective meditation is not possible unless you can gain concentration. Unless you are capable of making your mind single pointed and unflickering, meditation is not possible. That's why the need for gaining chitta ekagrata and chitta naishalya, that is single pointed focused mind. Single pointed focused mind is not possible unless the mind is pure. What is purity here? We will talk about in a little while. So you'll know what purity is. But without purity of mind, single pointed focus is not possible. So that is how they become a step-by-step process, that you need purity first, which will help you gain concentration, which will then help you get into meditation and help you establish that information that you received, the knowledge that you received, borrowed knowledge that you received, as your own self-knowledge. And that is why a step-by-step process. So now let us take up each of these one by one. So the first row was eligibility. Who is eligible to start walking on this path? And I said, two texts by Adi Shankaracharya, a text called Tattvabodha and a text called Viveka Chudamani, describe these in a great detail. This is called Sadhana Chatushtaya. Sadhana means, sadhana is a tool, a means, Chatushtaya means fourfold. So fourfold means of gaining eligibility. Now here I must he gives an example. He says, just as for cooking, you need fire. Without fire, cooking is not possible. Same way, for gaining self-knowledge, eligibility is like fire. Without eligibility, you will not be able to gain shuddhi, that is purity. You will not be able to gain concentration, and you will not be able to reach Jnana Yoga. There are 4 qualifications, as I said, and we'll look at them now in detail. But before that, let me give you a word of encouragement. One question that will cross our mind is that means if till I gain all these 4, I can't even start walking on the path. Right? Because there's a qualification. This is going to form my eligibility. So here, let me give you a bit of encouragement. I want to reach a destination, so I need to travel. It is dark right now, so I can't travel. Now, when light starts coming at dawn, do I need to wait for the brightest light of the noon to start walking? Or if there is adequate enough light at dawn, I can start walking. I can start walking the moment there's some light. So as long as I have these 4 qualifications in some measure, I can start walking on the path. I do not need to be perfect in these 4 means to start walking. The perfection will develop as we keep working on this. So don't get discouraged that this is not that you must master it first before you can move forward. You can start going forward as long as you have some semblance of this in you. And almost all of us have some semblance of it always. So now let's look at what are these 4 qualifications. The first qualification is called Viveka. Viveka literally means the power to discriminate. Discriminate between good, bad, real, unreal, uh, day, night. So the power to the capacity to discriminate, differentiate is called Viveka. In the current context, in the Advaita Vedanta context, what is Viveka? Viveka is defined as Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Now, Nitya, if you recall, we meant Nitya is that is which is real in all three times of periods of time. That is Nitya, the real, which is real in all three periods of time. It was, is, and will always be. And there is only one reality, which is Nitya, and that is Brahman. So when there's only one reality, Brahman, by definition, everything else becomes Anitya. Because there's only one reality. By definition, everything else is unreal. So the power to discriminate between what is real, what is Nitya, and what is non-real. Not only once, but discriminating this constantly all the time. It is not a one-step process. That throughout my life, my being able to discriminate between Nitya and Anitya at every moment of my life. That is Viveka in Advaita Vedanta. That when I look at something, I am able to understand that there is the substratum is the reality, the name and form are unreal, which we saw, remember, in the goldsmith's example, that the gold is real, the form and name of the ornament is unreal. That will change. Gold will still not change. So being able to see that reality behind every single object, behind every single individual, behind every single creature, behind every single situation is Viveka. So basically, if you divide into two, Atma, Brahma, or consciousness is reality. The entire universe is non-real, is unreal, not non-real. If you go back to our discussion, there are three categories: real, unreal, non-existent. So universe is not non-existent, it is unreal. Seems real, but when you inquire into it, you realize that it is not real. So it is apparently real, or it is dependently real, it is temporarily real, not absolute reality. This ability is the first qualification called Viveka, or the power to discriminate between absolute reality and everything else which is unreal. That's the first. Now, when you realize that only one thing is real, everything else is unreal, will you see any great benefit in that what is unreal, that is unreal? Now you see that only one entity or one thing is real, everything else is unreal. Will you have much expectation or much to expect, much to do with the things which are unreal? So it will automatically start building in you a feeling of moving away from that unreality. That this is unreal. This is not going to give me permanent happiness because it is temporary. The whole universe is temporary. Everything in the universe is temporary. They may give me fleeting happiness, but because their own nature is impermanence, they can never give me permanent happiness. A permanent happiness, which is what I'm after, is going to come only from what is real. Now, when you start understanding, once you discriminate using Viveka, you start slowly moving away from what is unreal. And that is the second qualification called Vairagya. detachment, dispassion. But this is not a forced detachment. This is a detachment that comes out of the understanding that this is real, this is unreal, this is not going to give me any lasting happiness or permanent happiness. This is what is going to give me happiness. So I slowly start getting detached from the unreal. That is called vairagya. Now, at the basic qualification, all of us have this capability of vairagya. In life, we have outgrown so many things. At a particular point in time, that object or that person or that situation was everything for me. But today, when I look back, it doesn't appeal to me at all. What has happened? I have outgrown. I have now got detached from that. Whether it is Barbie doll for girls or for the toy cars for men, or in youth you have attraction for uh, opposite gender, or the attraction towards wealth. So many things that you have got attracted to that time, found this is the ultimate, and then outgrown that. That is detachment. That is dispassion. Dispassion or detachment arising out of understanding, not a forced detachment. Now, the way it is defined is if I can be detached from something despite, or let me put it the other way around. If the detachment arises because it is not available to me, that is not detachment. It's not available to me, so I'm detached. Or it is available to me, but I have no knowledge that it can give me happiness or it can give me joy. I don't even know. When I don't know, then I'm detached, I'm dispassionate. I'm not, I have no interest in that. That is not detachment. Or it is available to me. I know it can give me a certain pleasure or joy, but I don't have the capability of being able to enjoy it. Could be, let's say, I have a sweet in front of me. I know it can give me pleasure, but I have severe diabetes. So I don't have the capability of being able to enjoy it. I do not have the capacity right now. There's a constraint. Detachment arising out of that constraint is again not detachment. So detachment here, vairagya here is having the capability, knowing well that the object can give me happiness, and it is being available to me, still remaining detached from it is detachment. Third is, am I detached and happy, or am I detached and unhappy? If I am detached and continue to be happy, continue to be unaffected, then it is detachment. If detachment is going to cause unhappiness, then it is separation and not detachment. So this is the second qualification, that we all need to have a level of detachment to the unreal. So first is, I should be able to differentiate between what is real, what is unreal, that is what is Atma, what is Anatma, and the capability of being detached from the Anatma in the manner that we talked about just now. The third aspect is what is known as a sixfold discipline. Sixfold disciplines called Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Sampatti is wealth. Shat is six. Shad is six. Samadhi is, it starts with some. So some, etc. Sama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. These are the six. They are there in the presentation. So you'll be able to get the list from there. But we'll talk about each one of them. First one is Shama. Shama is control over the mind. I should be able to control my mind. 99% of the time is the mind that is controlling me and not me controlling the mind. And again, as I said earlier, not by suppressing it, not by forcefully controlling it. One way to control the mind is make it busy in a higher pursuit. If you do not make it busy, it will not be easy to control it. So you need to make it busy. Make it busy in a higher pursuit. Like moksha, for example, is the ultimate pursuit. But any higher pursuit, move away, make it busy in that. So now it is doing what you want it to do rather than it is doing what it wants to do. I'm sure many of you would have come across this story about the jinn. There was this uh, person who wanted supernatural powers. He wanted something extraordinary. So he worshipped a particular deity, and finally the deity appeared and said, "What do you want?" So he said, you want me to give me something that will do anything and everything for me." So he said, "Okay, I will give you what is called jinn. The only condition is that you need to keep it busy constantly. You have to keep giving it work, and it'll do that work for you in jiffy. But you have to keep it occupied. If you do not keep it occupied, if it is free, it's going to eat you up." Keeping it busy, no problem. I have such a long list of things to be done for me. So keeping it busy, no problem. So I said, "Okay, take it." Now he had a long list of things to do, and the jinn finished them all in a jiffy. Now jinn says, "Give me more work." Now he has no more work. He tried keeping him busy, and then he had nothing to occupy the jinn from. So jinn started chasing him. This fellow ran to the deity again. "Please save me." He said, "What happened?" He said, "Jinn now wants to eat me up. I told you first only. So give me a solution." So he said, "The solution is simple. Ask the jinn to let's say, erect a pole in your compound, in your courtyard, a pole, a tall pole, and tell the jinn, till I tell you anything else next, keep going up and down the pole. Climb the pole, come down, climb up the pole, come down. Keep doing that till I give you the next task." That jinn is the mind. If you do not keep it busy, it is going to take you where it wants to go. So you need to keep it busy. And the best way is keep it busy in a higher pursuit, not climbing up the pole and up and down the pole. The idea is that you need to keep it busy. So make it busy with higher pursuits, it will come in control. Second discipline is called Dhamma. Dhamma is control over senses. Now, as I told you, remember a long time back that we have a manufacturing defect. The manufacturing defect is all our sensory organs are outwardly focused. And because they are outwardly focused, they constantly keep going out in the world, and they all have their own favorite objects, keep seeking those objects. So taste has its own object, and eyes have their own objects, and ears have their own objects, and they're constantly seeking those. So they keep running after those objects of delight. Controlling them so that you use them to your advantage rather than getting led by them. And so the taste leading you control the taste and make and enjoy everything that is available. You are not going to get the best of the sights always. It's controlling your vision so that you can still enjoy what is available. So control over senses is the second discipline that is required. The third one is called Uparati. Now, Uparati, there are two definitions available, but the relevant definition in our context is that the mind that I have controlled and the senses that I have controlled, now keeping them in that controlled position is Uparati. That is what I have withdrawn. I have withdrawn the mind, I have withdrawn the senses, Maintaining them in that state is uparati. So first is making sure that I withdraw, and then maintaining that state of withdrawal is called uparati. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, this will be called as pratyahara. That is withdrawing and maintaining the withdrawal. The fourth is called titiksha. Now, titiksha means forbearance or endurance. Having the capability to take the ups and downs of the life without getting impacted or affected by them. So the pair of let me put it this way, opposites: comfort, discomfort, pleasure, sorrow, insult, praise, all these opposites, if I'm able to bear in the same manner, that's called forbearance. That I am unaffected by whether it's favorable to me or unfavorable to me, whether I get this or I get that. That ability and that capability is called forbearance. Fifth is Shraddha. Now, Shraddha here is a open-minded, deep and strong trust. Open-minded, deep and strong trust, not blind belief. In what? In the words of the Vedas as explained by the Guru. So as I told you in the beginning, you need to start with faith in anything. When you went to school, you put faith in the book and the teacher, and that's how you learn. But first you started with faith that the teacher knows and the book is giving you the right knowledge. It's only faith that takes you at every stage ahead, because you first need to approach it with faith and then test it with your experience. Is this right or not? But that testing comes later on. First, you will put your faith in, then only you will gain something new. So Shraddha here is faith in the words of the Vedas and the Guru to start with. Later on, as I said, you need to experience it yourself. The Vedas are nowhere telling you that accept our word for without examining it, without questioning it. You are most welcome to question it, analyze it, experience it. Only then it will become self-knowledge. But to begin with, if you have no faith, you will not even start on the path. So you need to have faith to start on the path. And the last of these disciplines is what is called samadhana, which is concentration or focus. So intellect and Brahman being aligned in one. So intellect being equipoised, concentrated, focused. That is samadhana. So first was viveka, that is discrimination. Second was detachment, vairagya. And third was a set of 6 disciplines: mind control, sense control, maintaining that control, forbearance, faith, and concentration and focus. So that is 3 qualifications. The last of these 4 qualifications is what is called, and the most important one, because without that you will not even start the journey, is called mumukshutvam, or being or having an intense desire for liberation. Only when you have a desire for liberation will you start on the path. So that becomes a must qualification for you to start on this path. If I don't have any desire or longing for this ultimate goal of moksha or liberation, I'm not even going to start on that path. Even if I do start, it's not going to last too long. So I must have a strong desire or longing for the ultimate goal of life. That becomes a important qualification to start the journey. So fourfold qualifications, as I said, Viveka, Vairagya, 6 disciplines, and Mumukshatvam, which is strong desire for liberation. So these are the 4 qualifications required. How do we gain these? What can be done to gain these? But these are qualifications, but how do I gain them? I need to gain them, right? I have them to an extent. Now, if you look back, you will find that you have all of these to an extent, except maybe the last one, desire for moksha, which till now you are not even aware of. Now you are aware. The very fact that you're continuing, some level of desire is there in you, and that is why you're continuing. So these are the basic qualifications required to start on this path. How do we acquire them? How do we strengthen them? How do we make them perfect? We talk about in the next session, because now it's 9:15. We spent an hour already. So in the next session, we talk about how do I acquire these 4 qualifications, or qualifications which are already there in me. How do I strengthen them? How do I make them perfect? If there's any question on today's session, you're most welcome to ask. Let me now see question that Revati has read earlier.
Namaste.
Namaste.
My question about what you just spoke about right now, I was looking at the sixfold discipline path and I'm completely overwhelmed. This sounds like it is very intense, hard work, and it doesn't seem very joyful. Where is the Ananda in all this?
Ananda is at the end of it.
Okay.
That is why what is the last qualification? Intense
Moksha,
desire for that.
mokshatva. Okay.
What is moksha?
Bliss.
Unceasing, independent, causeless bliss. And when we
So,
talked last time about the state of the realized master, what is
mm,
the first attribute? Ever in bliss within himself. Nothing required from outside, no dependence on the world. It's like a fountain of bliss within. Rejoicing in that, fully satisfied in that. That is what is the Ananda. So
okay.
Ananda is at the end of it.
I
You
see.
can't get Ananda in a jiffy like this.
Would be
And don't get
helpful to
worried
have a
about
little bit along the way.
you only have most of these to a degree.
Yes. Thank you.
Acha, you had a question earlier. Yeah. So you're right. There's no point in pursuing those rituals, etc., etc. Does Vedas debunk it? No. Vedas, as I said, is a supermarket, so they offer whatever you want is available. Take it. It's up to you. But all the gurus, all the acharyas would strongly debunk it and tell you would be an idiot if you went onto that track. Any wise person will take this track and not that track. So some of the acharyas, particularly Adi Shankaracharya, uses a very one favorite word of his is calling you as mood. Mood
Mm.
means fool.
Mm.
That you are a fool if you are not on this path.
Yeah.
Like last time we said that you have wasted your life if you haven't realized in this life.
Mm.
So the acharyas debunk it very strongly, and there's a reason why they debunk it. But Vedas, as said, Vedas are compassionate. So they said, never mind, this is not your pursuit. Your pursuit is something else. Okay, I'll give you something for that, so that you reach wherever you want to reach. Acharya will tell you that's the wrong path. Don't go there. Come here. But Vedas don't tell you that. Vedas tell you whatever path you want to take, you take whichever path. I'll help you in that process. Whatever be your goal, I'll help you in that goal.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? I thought that this will be overwhelming. That is why I added that encouragement right in the beginning. That don't worry, none of us have it in full measure. We will all gain it as we go along, as we make progress. And in fact, it works the other way, both ways. As you progress, they become stronger. As they become stronger, the progress becomes faster. So they feed each other. So to that extent, you don't need to worry. The only other point I'll make on this is that once I develop mind control, sense control, Shraddha, etc., are they irreversible? They are perfectly reversible. My mind control today doesn't guarantee my mind control tomorrow. My sense control today doesn't guarantee sense control tomorrow. So this is a continuous exercise required right till the end, right till we attain liberation. We need to constantly keep refreshing this in ourselves. That keep reminding ourselves, keep following the practices required for keeping these qualifications valid. Any other question? No? All right. So next time we will look at how to gain these or practices to strengthen these rather than gain. So practices to strengthen these. What should I do in life? Okay. So we'll close for today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Ishwararpanamastu. Hari Om. See you all next time.
Thank you, Vinod. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.